Hey everybody! Hope you're having a good Friday so far. I'm here with Benedict Drinks. How's it going, man? Oh, you've looks like your mic's muted. Oh, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. There we go. Yeah.
I think we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, but if this happens again, hopefully you'll be fast enough to patch that.
Nice.
All right. So, yeah, I'm sorry. Pretty good. Thanks for having me here, Jesse.
Nice. Thanks for coming on. Yeah, it's a pleasure to see you. This is going to be fun to hear some songs from you and have a little chat.
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing. I did just put out a little album, which you can find if you go to Benedict Drinks on Facebook. Just kind of type that in your search bar to find it. Just put a little album out for something called the RPM Challenge here. And I'm not going to be playing. I don't play any of those songs really. Actually, I'm just going to do a bunch of covers that I've been playing lately out here. So I guess should I just get right to it then?
Yeah, yeah. Let's get into her.
All right. So this is a song called "Lonesome Shadow." I cast a lonesome shadow. Every when the sun goes down, I sit here in my room, and the lamp I played over me.
Hey, I lost your audio there, man. Hmm. Yeah, I think we lost your audio here. If anybody's watching, if you could give us a comment and let us know if you're hearing anything on Ben's end there. Damn. Yeah. No, I can't hear you. We had this going well.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you again.
I can not hear you guys
Oh, you can't hear me though, eh?
there. There we go. Now I can hear you. It looks like
Cool.
that's going to be set. It seems to just keep on resetting. Should I give it another go and see if try our luck if it happens again?
Yeah, yeah. Let's try it again and we'll go from there.
Out there, planet Earth, wish us luck, I guess. I don't know. Come on, technology gods. All right, do that from the top. I cast a lonesome shadow. Every when the sun goes down, I sit here in my room, and the lamp that's spilling over me projects my lonely gloom.
Awesome, man. That's a good track to start us off with.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm a big fan of that song. I just started playing that not too long ago, and that's kind of why I want to play all these songs. Is been locked inside. Let's see what we got, right? So it's all going to be new stuff. Hopefully, if you've seen me play, hopefully you won't heard me play these songs.
Nice. So I'm getting some messages in saying that your vocals are, or not your vocals, but like you're coming across as really quiet with everything.
Really? That's too bad. Let me turn up my volume levels then. Did they say anything in particular?
Let's see.
Let's see there. That's my.
No, they can hear me good, but not you. Yours, yeah, just saying yours end is very quiet.
That's. Let me see if I can do a couple things, and if not, then maybe turn. Best thing I can suggest is maybe turn their volume up. My things are pretty high up here right now. Um, I made a couple little tweaks. I don't know if it's going to make a big change for you guys, but maybe I'll take another look in between songs or something like that. Does anyone notice? Anyone out there right now that notices a difference? I can't see the comments right now.
Yeah, let us know if that's any better.
Shall I just, I guess, push through for those that are gonna push through?
Yeah. If you want to play us another song or two, then we'll yeah. And if anybody's got any questions or comments, feel free. They come straight from Facebook and YouTube. We'll get them all in here. So yeah. Thank you everybody, and yeah, thanks Ben for coming on. I'm gonna crack myself a drink here for Benedict Drinks. I've been waiting all day for this, and yeah, I'm excited to hear some tunes.
I meant to have a beer by a local brewer out here. There's this great local brewery, Kitty Vitty, here in Newfoundland, St. John's, and a friend of a friend, pretty cool guy actually. We ended up talking a little bit. Was one of the brewmasters. I meant to have that on, but Ralph Pike, shout out, good brew. Um,
Nice.
so yeah, I guess what I'm gonna do now is the last song was a little bit down tempo. We're not out of the down tempo stuff yet, but I'm gonna play a Ryan Adams song that I'm a pretty big fan of called well, "To Be Sad" is the short version of the name.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm still here.
No problem.
So yeah, apparently we've got some other messages in too. Apparently, yeah, you're pretty quiet on your end.
Pretty quiet on my end.
Maybe I'll just try to talk quieter.
I wish I knew how to kind of up that right now, to be honest.
Oh yeah, yeah, nothing there. Yeah, maybe I will just tone myself down and talk in a more calm voice.
Were you talking over it, Jesse?
Nice.
Okay, let me try. I really don't know if this is going to do anything or not, but hopefully it will. Remember, when in doubt, just twist various knobs, and that usually helps a little bit. So I'll do that. That should, it's probably going to start sacrificing sound quality for it, but if you guys can't even hear me, maybe that will be better. At least you'll hear it. And let me do one more. Two. Okay, so hopefully this will make a substantial difference. Can you notice a difference, Jesse?
Yeah, definitely.
And these people are not crazy then. It's just my settings. Okay, well, we got it.
Nice.
Shall I keep on playing some music for you guys?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Let's hear some more, man.
Do you have a preference between faster or slower songs, Jesse?
Ooh, I'm down for a fast one to get
Not
my
fast.
Friday night into gear.
Faster. It's not
Faster.
It's not simple. I have another project for that stuff.
Nice.
So this is a song by a guy named Andrew Bird. It's called Eugene, and it's a super simplified version. So if you like roughly what I'm doing, look up the song. There's some great violin parts and stuff like that too, if you're into that. So it's a shorter one, and here we go.
Nice.
Yes, it's a much longer song if you have the fantastic dynamics that comes from having a violin countering the guitar part. But hey, you know what? Pretty cool lyrics, I think, still, when you can get them right.
Nice.
You can make it through both verses.
So now so apparently we got the talking up good, but now apparently your guitar is much louder than your vocals.
You know what? And here I was thinking, I got this.
I think we're close. We're so close. Thanks to thanks to Don for all the notes there. That's been helpful.
Thank you. This reminds me a lot of playing live music.
Right.
That's all right.
Except you normally have a better sound guy than me.
Don't say that, Jesse. You know that. I guess I mean I still have more stuff, so it's basically gonna be up to you to shut me up, or when things start failing technologically again. Um,
Cool. Can I jump in with some questions
Please,
before we
yeah,
get to some
yeah,
more songs?
I'd love to hear some.
Um, yeah, I'd love to hear about what you. So you're out in St. John's right now,
Yeah.
and you got the two different projects going. The
Hmm.
yeah, tell me what's going on? What's going on in the life of Ben?
Yeah, it's so basically what happened is I'm from Toronto. Love Toronto, but I found myself really not getting ahead. I found it very expensive to kind of keep stuff there. So I moved out here basically to kind of really take a stab at doing music stuff because it really is, what I love to do. And it struck me as something that you might as well fail pretty hard. If you know what you want to do, you might as well take a good stab at it. So that's why I'm out here basically, is I'm going to school for sound recording and production. This video might not be showing that. I haven't started yet, so don't say anything to it. Um, doing what I can. So yeah, out here, what I'm doing is I am teaching. I'm doing online lessons as well. By the way, I can play more impressive stuff than you might be seeing here as well. So I'll just put that out there as well. But so what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to keep myself busy with teaching, getting ready for school for sound recording production. The two bands are Benedict Drinks, which is a project I've had for a while. That's kind of I've always tried to make it be more of a uh, not so much a band, but like a collaborative effort kind of a thing. Something where I'd encountered so many projects where difficulties with organizing time and getting the right people and lining up schedules and all that was such an ordeal that I said, you know what, I'd like to just do something where I'll play music, and if you can show up and you can play music too, I'd love to have you, especially if you like the stuff. Um, Even if you don't like the stuff, maybe who knows? All those accordion players out there. Which seriously, so that's good. I'm playing that, and I'm trying to. Before this was happening, I was trying to play in as many breweries as I can. I'm also hoping to start doing some online beer or wine or whiskey spirit kind of features as well at various different locations that I would play. But that's all to be done. So it's mostly a eclectic, uh, bunch of various the worst possible. I love giving descriptions that leave people more confused than when they're like, "What is happening with this?" Well, let me ramble on for 50 minutes. It's mostly a folk acoustic project that has all kinds of genres happening, and it's based around me. And then I'm very lucky to have other people playing occasionally. I just put that album out that I mentioned, which was an album for this project, a bunch of older songs that I'd done, just to get them done basically. And I had a fantastic violin player named Rowan Sherlock. Shout out. He did some violin work on one of the tracks, which is fantastic. The guitarist from my other band, Slowpoke, which I will talk about shortly and briefly, um, played guitar on a couple tracks, and I've got some friends back from Toronto and from here. I've got a bass player, Cody, who's doing great. So shout out to Cam and Cody as well. And Slowpoke is basically the alternative. So this is a lot more singer songwriter esque, a lot more softer, a lot more acoustic oriented. Canadiana is a term that really doesn't fit into, but I like to use the word. So Canadiana, why not? And then the other project is downright just rock and roll. I mean, stoner rock would probably be the term that everyone would assume. It's kind of a mix of psychedelic, very hard on the riffs. Um, I've been told it comes off almost progressive because of the songwriting. So I like to have one project that's a heavier, get stuff out there, and then a bit of a lighter thing to contrast. So that's kind of what they do for me.
That's cool. Yeah, they're uh, for me anyway. Playing really heavy music or playing kind of the acoustic singer songwriter stuff. Like it's a completely different feeling. Is that how would you kind of describe like that for yourself? Why is it important for you to have a heavy one and a
Well, to me,
songwriter
the
one?
entire thing is like what I love about music isn't. I mean, depending on the day, if you ask someone what they love about music, they'll probably give you different answers. One of the big things for me is just how cool it is when you really like vibe, and it doesn't even have to be like it can be when you really feel a piece of music. It can also really, I'm sure when you play with other musicians and you get in the zone, the fabled zone, right? And you just love it because it's just this ridiculously weird thing that we're doing where we're all locking in at like a super high level in our heads and like to a degree physically, although it's not necessarily super straining depending on the vocal work. Um, and I think that's just super cool. And I think that as a phenomenon is just so amazing. And that's part of the reason that I think that heavy metal and heavy music is cool. And it's some of the reason that it's the exact same reason that I love this stuff. It's just a different kind of color of it in a way. Like it's obviously not. the same kind of itch that's being scratched by the two different things, but it's definitely using the same scratcher, right?
Nice. That's a perfect analogy there.
Yeah, thanks. Now, good
Nice.
variety's good.
Love it. Cool. Yeah, I've got some questions about your album, but if you yeah, maybe if you want to play us a couple more songs first, and we'll jump into it.
Sorry?
Yeah, if you want to play us a couple more songs, I'll ask you some more questions afterwards.
Absolutely. Okay.
Awesome.
I'm gonna do. This is a song I found out about a long time ago, so it is an older song, but I've never really been able to pull it off that well. Um, oh, today's the day, so let's give it a go. This is called How Will You Meet Your End" by A.A. Bondi. Gonna keep that diamond in my mind. Gonna keep that diamond in my mind. There's hell upon the breeze. There's hell upon the breeze. Six riders ride. They say I must be the devil's child. They say I must be the devil's child. There's hell upon the breeze. There's hell upon the breeze. And six riders ride. All my days I've been losing kind. All my days I've been losing kind. There's hell upon the breeze. There's hell upon the breeze. But love, it ain't mine. I killed my daddy and took his 45. Killed my daddy and took his 45. He was no good to her. He was no good to her. He had to die. Lightning hits the church and the women cry. Lightning hits the church and the women cry. There's hell upon the breeze. There's hell upon the breeze. No God inside. Six riders stand upon the ridge tonight. Six riders stand upon the ridge tonight. Oh Lord, they have found me. Oh Lord, they have found me. My time is nigh. Missed the harmonic at the very end of it.
It was going so well.
Thank you. Yeah, bit of a tricky one. I didn't do a lot of fingerstyle stuff, but like I was saying, kind of pushing myself to get out here, get some new stuff done.
Nice. Yeah, no, yeah, that definitely that sounds like a tough finger picking one for sure.
Oh, it gets if depending on how many songs you're going to let me play here today, Jesse, I've got one that's going to trump that. So
Nice.
it's a bit busier. It's interesting of a chord progression. Great story behind that one. Not an incredibly interesting chord progression. So yeah, but great
Cool.
song. I think I'm a fan.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, it seems like you got a pretty wide ranging, list of artists. With your covers and kind of stuff. What's some of the main stuff that you're listening to right now?
So okay, what I'm listening to right now is not necessarily going to be what I'm drawing from. I'll keep this relatively quick. I have a tendency to ramble on about stuff. I think as a Benedict Drinks the Project is not only the original project I'm talking about, but we're doing all these, excuse me, covers. And I think that one of the things that we can really do as musicians is like you've had songs that have really emotionally touched you through your life. Everyone has. It's why one of the reasons we love music. So what I'm really trying to do here is like the songs. It's not just that I have to think it's a good song. It's a song that I have to have had either some specific kind of, you know what I mean, some kind of relationship. It has to hit me in a certain way, or it has to really, really strike me as a great song. So I when choosing that, there's a whole bunch of stuff. It really comes down to, as corny as it sounds, if it speaks to you, that's really it. And so there's that. As for what I'm listening to right now, I've been digging Ty Segall. He's been putting out a lot of stuff. Who else just put out some stuff? Aesop Rock, AESOP, not ASAP. Aesop Rock just put out some. Apple Music published an album of tunes that he did for a video game, so that's actually pretty solid. I love everything Aesop does. I've for this kind of stuff, I've really been influenced by Devil Makes Three. I haven't been listening to them as much currently. I've been listening in that kind of vein where it's still kind of um, singer songwriter acoustic instrumentation, but the songwriting doesn't necessarily reflect that, or the accents don't necessarily reflect that. I really like Kevin Morby Singing Saw, which is a bit more of that kind of singer songwriter stuff. Great album. Check that one out for sure. Seriously, if you just want to find some good music, I highly recommend that. And I'll throw one out there too. This is not at all the same genre, but a bit more kind of, we'll say pop punk, but it's a bit more grungy, garagey, pop punk in the writing sensibility, not so much in the actual parts. The band Violent Soho and the album Waco. Bit of an older album now. It's not super fresh, but great album as well. If you like high energy but good songwriting and just like good feels.
Nice. I've never heard it, so I'll definitely be checking it out.
I got all that stuff. Well, the last two from Fiddler interview, because great band, another band to check
Nice.
out, by the way, Fiddler if you haven't. And
Definitely.
I was so impressed by their breadth of just like what they draw from musically in terms of just different ideas and things they fit into their writing. It was really cool to see. Kind of they asked a bunch of people in the band, and they all had pretty cool bands to check out. Parquet Courts was one more on that one, which if you're into kind of it's more about like cerebral punk rock, like lyrically it's a much more impressive band. It's a bit more punk rock in its application. Another fantastic band, really cool.
What's the name of that one?
Parquet Courts.
Parquet Courts. Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
pretty sure.
Cool.
Yeah, so
And
that's a good chunk.
I'll ask you about your album now. Well,
Sure.
we're speaking of albums.
Yeah.
So am I safe to assume that "Lose Your Delusion" is a Guns N' Roses reference?
I don't know why you would say something like that.
Just double checking.
It was, but it's one of those things where that was just one of the factors, you know. I thought it was an appropriate when I actually really look at a lot of the songs, right? That's kind of my bedroom album. Is how I kind of look at it, right? Is like we all have some songs that we strum through, and some of them are like decent songs still, but it's still very much the stuff I kind of, I mean, for first attempts at different styles and stuff like that. Um, so all the lyrical content was a lot about just stuff you deal with in early 20s and stuff like that. And as Ryan Adams said, when you're young, you get sad and you get high and that kind of shit. So a lot of the lyrics end up being kind of I don't know, talking to myself, working through things and stuff like that. So Lose Your Delusion was kind of meant to be like self-reflect as well, and I found a lot of the songs had the underlying message of like see yourself, just stop, see yourself. So, and I think that's usually a pretty applicable thing for most people. Um, Comes off a bit preachy sometimes, but that's what I have, so I'm happy with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, you played pretty much everything on that album. You featured other artists, but you did pretty much everything yourself. How was that experience?
Um, so so it's a really cool experience. RPM is something that I'd never heard of until I moved out here to St. John's. And it's called stands for Record Production Month, which is it's not only here, it's open to anyone. So if you're at home thinking, I wish I had something challenging me to write an album in a month, well, that's exactly what RPM is. It's you take the month of February, and I think they're saying is essentially record an album in a month because you can. Now, no one's saying it's going to be the top quality, but as we all know as artists, showing up and getting to work can sometimes take a foot in the ass. So this is a great foot in the ass. Basically, you have a month, and what I did is I had all these songs written. Um, the guitar parts, the vocal parts, mostly worked out. I think there was one song, "Turn of the Tide," which I only wrote at the end of uh, 2019, and that's a new track that's on it. But otherwise, it was all songs that I'd written previously, and some of them I'd been playing previously in Benedict Drinks, so it was convenient where I'd already worked on a couple bass parts for one or two songs, but it wasn't nothing had been recorded. So I spent the entire month kind of just tracking all that stuff, which can be a very time demanding thing to do when you have the rest of your life happening as well. But I pushed through it, and it's one of those really funny things too, where I mean I play guitar. That's my main thing. If we were to go back to music lessons, I'm primarily a guitar instructor, bass pretty good, a couple other things, but I don't really do that through the school I'm teaching at. So guitar I'm most confident on by far, and those were the tracks where there were simple chords. Like some of the progressions have nice chords, but they're not super demanding of your left hand or anything like that. And I would go through take after take after take after take and super hyper fixate on it. And then when time came to do some drums, I didn't have any parts written. I basically played all the drums in like an hour. I was kind of like, all right, so I'm gonna, my landlord had kind of left for the weekend, and I had the house to myself. So I took the mutes off the drum kit back there, which you probably can't see, but it's back there, and I plugged away at it, and it was great. Great challenge, and as I say, if you're kind of sitting there being like, I wish there was a reason for me to go and get this stuff done, sign up for it because it's like a pact. Like you'll put even if you don't finish it, you'll get work done. And if that's something you're not doing, or if it's something you need to start doing more of, or really get that ball rolling for yourself, for in what capacity, whatever way, RPM challenge, check it out.
That's awesome. That's yeah, that's definitely a cool thing. A lot of artists are really perfectionists, and hold on to things for a long time. So whenever I see artists doing shit like that, putting a whole album together in a month or pushing themselves to do it, like I feel like that's really a different type of creativity than we're normally using.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, and it's also it's your best friend if you are a perfectionist because that will get in your way as well. If you're any artist, really, you want to keep on creating stuff, right? And it's I'm not saying you shouldn't practice things until they're really really nice and clean and pristine, but also realize your own limitations. And that's another reason I'm so happy I did this album in a month is because I know that I would never be happy the way I mean I'm not super thrilled with the production quality of it just because I did it myself in a month in addition to all the tracking. I'm really happy I did it, but I know that I was never going to be super content with how things came out. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
those are the songs that you first kind of you have memories based around them and stuff like that, and you're always going to build them up. And happy enough with it. I think it's definitely very listenable. I'm kind of surprised at myself occasionally when I listen through it. Like there's some parts that I'm actually quite fond of. Um, but more than anything, it's as a somewhat self-proclaimed perfectionist, it's a great thing to have this kind of thing. Just be like, no, stop doing that. Stop thinking that. Don't wait another month. Get it all done right now. You've been waiting to do it. You just
Nice.
do it.
The
Some shy.
the good old Shia quote.
So
Okay.
yeah, that's Benedict Drinks. If you want to look that up on Facebook, Benedict Drinks, Lose Your Delusion. You can also find it on Bandcamp. I appreciate any and all money going towards music stuff. I think there's also maybe a tip link included. I'm not sure if I gave that or not.
Yeah, we've actually, if anybody, quarantinesongs.com, that's we got a tip jar set up. So if anybody wants to send anything in there, that's that. I'll put this down in the comments. Everybody can link that right up there. And I think Bandcamp is also doing 100% of the profits to the artist today. So that's if anybody wants to buy your album, today's the day.
Anything, listen to it is the biggest thing I could ask for, more than anything.
Nice. Cool. You want to play us a couple more songs here, and I'll put some things in the comments here so people can find all that.
Let's do that. I'm gonna do. Okay, we'll see how this one goes. I've been pretty good for all the risks I've taken so far. Haven't forgotten too many things. Okay, so this is I said before, one of the bands that I'm a fan of. I said very briefly because I can talk fast sometimes. Is Devil Makes Three, and this is a song by Devil Makes Three called "Stranger." Just like you, I get high as the morning sky. The song I sing will never die. I get as low as a gravel road and 1,000 tongues. My story's told. Like a funeral pyre, we can get along like a house on fire. This world is cold, this world is mean. My heart is stone, and my hands are clean. And they'll say, "Tell us, Jack, what do you see? Where we go now? What does it mean? Come on, boys, gotta do it right. Gotta go to the moon in the middle of the night. Come on, Jack, what do you know? Where we been now? Where we go? Come on, boys, gotta tell the truth. I'm a stranger here, just like you. I get high as the morning sky. The song I sing will never die. I get as low as a gravel road, 1,000 tongues. My story's told. Watch me turn like an iron wheel around the deck. When spirit feels time cannot hold me in this cage. I crack the deck, I jump the grave, and they'll say, "Tell us, Jack, what do you know? Where we see now, where we go? Come on, boys, gotta do it right. Gotta break to the moon in the middle of the night. Come on, Jack, what do you know? Where we see now, where we go? Come on, boys, gotta tell you the truth. I'm a stranger here, just like you." I'm gonna cut it there because I was cutting it there. That's a fun song to play and somehow almost more fun to fuck up. Not really. But PMA, positive mental attitude.
That was a fun one to listen to.
Thank you. Yeah, it looks like my voice is, or my energy level. I didn't realize we've been doing this for 40 minutes already.
Yeah, honestly, time flies. Like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, is this a Joe Rogan podcast or is this the quarantine songs? Well, you know what? Maybe since we are getting close to that time, should I close it off with one final?
Sure. Yeah. Can I ask you a quick little question? We chatted a little bit before this started, but I'm
Sure.
kind of curious to hear more about it. So yeah, you were in Toronto. Now you're in St. John's.
Hmm.
You're just kind of talking about the music scene in St. John's. How is everything out there? Like, is there yeah, like venues and kind of places to play? What's the deal in St. John's?
I'm gonna have to keep that a secret just so that you can feel tempted to come over, just so that we can have more people. No, I okay. So
Okay, fine. I'll be there. I'll get on a plane right now,
in
Ben.
general, I think that's one of the biggest things is we take it for granted living in Toronto, or any major city because it's crazy to me. I was born and raised in Toronto, and I worked as a promoter for a little while, but I played a lot, and I was always out at shows, or at least pretty frequently. And there was always a lot to go to. And if anything, you were paralyzed with choice. And out here, there's still a lot of good bands. There's still, it's a very comparable scene to what you would expect in Toronto or anywhere else, just with maybe a couple less bands. I'll go over kind of some popular genres and stuff like that. But the big thing is you can't get people from out of town here, and I think that's one of the big things when it comes to marketing is you would find a band that was pretty well respected and liked out here, and just things like their Facebook like numbers or their social media numbers would be a much smaller amount because you have substantially less people, right? Um, and it's kind of a sad thing. So there's a lot of really good music out there, but it doesn't get a lot of attention, which is kind of unfortunate. um, I like to think that the more that we get towards this kind of stuff happening and more accessibility to all kinds of things from all kinds of places, that we could maybe kind of overcome that a little bit. I'm working with a kind of, we'll call them a news agency, I guess. It's a little group of mostly a guy named Greg Sweetapple, who is the head of Heavy Newfoundland, and you should also check that out. They do a lot of stuff for just reviews and just keeping people in the loop about what's happening in the scene. One of the cool things that's really cool about the scene out here is record shops are a bit more important still, which is awesome to see. I mean, you got your Sunrise Records, and that's fine. But one of the really popular ones down here is Fred's Records. And when I first came out here, looking to start bands and stuff like that, I ended up meeting the guitar player that would play in the project at Fred's Records, which was kind of cool. It seems to be essentially the meeting place, although I am still a stranger here. And sorry, that was really horrible. I'm new here, and I'm not the person to necessarily ask. There's a lot of music regularly. There's a lot of I saw musicians playing in like the supermarket. Coleman's is like your no frills kind of a thing, independent, specific to Newfoundland, and you've got a lot more live music around like that. Not as many practice spaces, which is unfortunate. But if anyone is out there in St. John's that has a lot of money and is listening, Rehearsal Factory would do very well to reach out here because a lot of people could use the space. So popular genres, I love stoner metal. Stoner metal is very popular out here. A lot of riff rock stuff is very popular out here. A lot of 80s metal is very popular out here. Black metal has its own. I almost feel like you know how you've got various waves of like ska or punk and stuff like that bouncing between the UK and the States or North America. You also kind of have. I feel like it's a hub for black metal stuff just because it's so brutal. Like you want to talk about winters. Did you see Snowmageddon? Like you guys think that just the pandemic's bad. I mean, it's obviously much worse. But I mean, it's crazy. I know it was just snowing in Toronto as well, but it just doesn't stop out here.
Yeah, I've seen some pictures in the last little bit that blew my mind this winter. It's yeah, Jesus.
So if you're gonna go for that cult metal stuff, it's like, could you ask for a more brutal place? No.
that, that's some good inspiration.
Hey, sure. If that's what you're going for, yeah, absolutely, there would be.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, yeah, thanks for running over all that.
My pleasure.
Yeah, if you want to close us off with a song here, we can get
Sure.
into that.
Sure.
And yeah, you got the one left, or you got a couple for us?
I mean, I have easily more than 3 hours worth of material I could play. I'm not going to do that. I have one specifically that I kind of was thinking about closing off with. I guess in closing, before that, I will say Slowpoke on Facebook. Check them out. We have nothing recorded. Well, we have things recorded, but I'm also working on those. Unlike the RPM, the perfectionist side of me is kicking in, so that's really slow coming. Uh, like us anyway, because I don't know. Just do it, please. Thank you. Appreciate it. Super kind of you if you do. You might be able to find a couple links. But I'm working very hard on the album, and I've got a couple other things. You can also, if you do like what I'm doing, and you're just curious what else I have, I've basically any band project, any material that I've been part of that was even remotely half decent, I have put up on a website, www.benchapmansmith.com. I also have the most recent Benedict Drinks album on there as well. Uh, do the social media thing. I appreciate it if you do, and if you don't, that's okay. Have a good day still.
Nice.
No hate, no hate.
Awesome.
So the last song I'm going to play for you guys is a song called "Charlie's Is Coming Down," and it's by a band called the Deep Dark Wood. It was found as part of the CBC Great Canadian Quest for the Great Canadian Song, something like that. I've said enough about it that you probably know what it is if you know what it is. Okay. Good time Charlie was alive in 1969. Now everybody's leaving town since good time Charlie's is coming down. So may lock the windows and close all the doors. Good time Charlie's no more. Some people fight and some people lose. Well, Charlie's got the blues. Charlie's got the blues. Where their hearts keep telling lies. You can see it in their eyes. These cruel men keep running around. That's why Charlie's is coming down. So they lock the windows and close all the doors. Good time, Charlie's no more. Some people fight, some people lose. Well, Charlie's got the blues. Charlie's got the blues. Looking out my bedroom door, I hear a rattling on the floor. The news has come around. The good time Charlie's is coming down. So may lock the windows and close all the doors. Good time Charlie's no more. Some people fight, some people lose. Well, Charlie's got the blues. Charlie's got the blues. Well, this old world's got me down. All of these places have hit the ground. So let's drink another round before Charlie is crumbled down. So may lock the windows and close all the doors. Good time, Charlie's no more. Some people fight, some people lose. Well, Charlie's got the blues. Charlie's got the blues. Charlie's got the blues. Charlie's got the blues. Charlie's got the blues.
Awesome, man.
You know what? We're really close to an hour.
Very close. That was I think that was a great track to end it on.
Do you think maybe we want to do one more to make it an hour?
Oh man, I'm definitely down.
You're down for it?
Yeah,
Tell you what,
100%.
do you have any more questions for me? Can we? How are you, Jesse? How has this been going?
I'm good. It's been pretty cool getting to do these. I get to I get to talk to artists like you from all over the country and actually some from around the world. So this
Awesome.
has definitely been helping keep me sane.
I didn't realize that you were doing some from people from outside of Canada. That's awesome.
Yeah. Dropouts normally just all Canada, but for this we figure that we
Why not?
everybody just needs music. So if people want to come in from other places, we're definitely down. We've had quite a few Australians on actually, and that's been a lot of fun.
I can't believe I missed it. Well, you're doing a great service here, man. I mean, personally, I appreciate the hard work that you do for organizing all of this stuff. I mean, people always think at home like, "Oh, I can record an album, I can do this," and you can. But it takes a lot more hard work than you expect if you haven't done this or you're not doing this. So, thank you, Jesse, for doing all of this.
Oh, that means a lot. Thanks a lot,
Uh,
man.
okay, so I lied. That last song was a song that I. It is the same song. I didn't lie about what the song was, but it's a song that I do usually actually play to end sets. And I figured since we're so close, and there's one other song that I usually play to end sets, and it's from Toronto. It's a guy Nick Tehan who is not a famous artist from Toronto, but is a fantastically talented one. I heard this a long time ago, and I asked him if he could tell me the chord progression so I could cover it because there's a couple of really out there weird things. And he said yes, and I've been smart enough not to ask him ever again if it's okay. Playing it, and it's one of my favorite songs that I've heard written, definitely by an independent musician. Um, but great song. So that's called Raccoon.
That's awesome. I'm super stoked to hear it. I'm just gonna say bye to everybody before you get into this, and we'll just exit this with the song. Thanks so much for coming on here. This has been a fun way to spend a Friday night. Oh no, we lost your audio again. No. Technology gods, I want one more song, please.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, we got you back.
Hello. And God said,
Yes. Okay. I'm just gonna get out of here so we can get this on. Thank you everybody for watching. Really appreciate it. We got a bunch more shows coming up this weekend. Thanks, Ben. Again, this has been great. I can't wait to hear what this next one sounds like.
thank you, Jesse. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I were a raccoon, I would dance beside the moon on the fence by the shed in your yard. And all the things you discard line my stomach, clog my heart. But for you, darling, I will starve. So many of us here tonight, you left us all behind. It's Davy Crockett's genocide. We raccoons only come out late at night. Furry hands, rotting teeth. I can spit, but I can wave from the hedge. I can see you while you sleep. And maybe one moonless night, open window, turned out light. We could decide, would never tell a soul. This is my last time here tonight. I won't leave you behind. Davy Crockett's genocide. We raccoons only come out late at night. messed that up twice, and it's killing me. There we go. Strung on men, skipped my friends, skinned their backs and left their ends. I don't see beauty in their stale disguise. I'm the last to survive, but if I am to stay alive, darling, you must let me come inside. This is my last time in the night. I won't leave you behind. Davy Crockett. This is my last time in the night. I won't leave you behind. God damn it, poor Davy Crockett's right, but he sleeps through most of the night. This is my last time here tonight. I won't leave you behind. Davy Crockett has some nights. If I come home and old Davy's there, and he must kill me, I don't care, but you must skin me. Please don't wear my hide. That's solo. Bye, everybody.